we stand to receive His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda. We shall have the anthem when the President goes to his seat. You are most welcome, Your Excellency, to this very important occasion in our district where we are unveiling this monument. General Ashande, the Chief Cynic, as the President casts the tape. Obugaro.
You're welcome, Your Excellency. Friends of the population and the designs that we are trying to change by that time. Your Excellency, this is young man by that time, Your Excellency, the President Yoweri Museveni. Thank you, Your Excellency, for granting without the tree that was remaining from this monument that was not yet done. It was designed and constructed to recognize the contribution by you, Your Excellency, as a young man in transforming the people of Ankole from traditional modern farming methods. Your campaign of socio-economic transformation. We thank you, Your Excellency. From Wilza to Matafari, yes.
Bitwe ka parliament twosere twagire umurimo wa UPDF gukora ahabugwa nete executive no barayende kumano bakora kugumiza mu bombe ke bijukizo nangwa tukabendisha bamwe dukora twena za libraries rero duhandiko byawe Your Excellency duhandiko byaba generals byona bize mutu kushomesa abana we abako hati twina oine wishukuru wabo abarushoma tubone kugumiza mutu kunjurensi kucyo kutwagishangire abira gushikabere turubakuru munonga onka okushoma no kutabika byenyuma ndicyaye kitwitse obu UPDF yatandikire iki nicyo kugumiza nanyenda ngumusime Uganda People's Defense Force hamwe na literature ehandikirwa bona ko Uganda nije kumana munji kukira okuyabere nibyo bike abarangane hangari yake.
Excellency, we want to take this opportunity. Thank you for coming here to grace this very, very important function, and above all, for approving our idea of putting up this monument in honor of your works, which you did as a youth here in Rushere, in Kiruhura, and still continue doing it as a Mugurusi.
This monument, Your Excellency, and dear guests, which is constructed by the Bodiva and the UPDF Engineering Brigade under the Civil Military Relations Department, is a recognition of the sacrifice and the tireless efforts of Your Excellency in spearheading the socio-economic transformation of the people of Ankole, then and now spreading to other parts of our country. Abantu baffe wano obadde tonnajja batubuulidde abakulu abatwala wano nga wano tewaliwo kikopo ky'amata kigenda Tampeko egenda Kampala emu, kubanga abantu baali basenguka baali balunda bwe batyo nga bimanyi byonna, naye Kiruhura olunaku olumu eyingiza $5,000,000 per day from Milika alone. The monument is a silent narrator of how improvements in agricultural productivity is the value addition can enhance and benefit the national economy, where non-agricultural sectors are initially smaller, hence creating alternative employment, reducing poverty levels, while improving household incomes.
I don't know who thought of this idea. It is very interesting because it is true that the campaign we started at the end of 1966 was actually launched here, started here. This part of the world is always very rich. If you want to know how rich it is, you can read the book of Henry Morton Stanley. But during the time of the British, we had had a lot of problems. First of all, there was smallpox in 1895, and many people died. Then there was the rinderpest umbiamu, the cattle disease. So then we had another epidemic, 1918. That's when the Europeans started vaccinating against rinderpest and branding the cattle with a letter R. That's what the Wanyapere call it. Then we had another one in 1933, another epidemic. Then we had another one in 1944 when I was born. So that century of the Europeans was full of upheavals here. And people became poor. That's how many of them migrated. This is Malawi that they're talking about, who went to work for cows in Teso, in land. It was because of those problems. When I came to Mbarara High School from Tungamu, the first Sunday I visited a family friend, the Kamomos. My father had told me to call on them. Then the second Sunday I went to Stock Farm, Mbarara. What the Wanyapere were calling Farm Yomzungu, the white man's farm. So when I went there, I saw they were looking after cows in a totally different way. Fencing the land, killing the ticks, capturing the water. So I said, but why can't our people learn this? That's what opened my eyes, the Mbarara Stock Farm. Then, the 2 years I was in Mbarara High School, we were now learning about the world. These topics they teach, some of them sound irrelevant, but actually they are useful for somebody who is, if they are teaching you about the agricultural revolution in Europe or in America, if you learn it, you can. So when we were studying those subjects, then in time we had more time. Because in time I spent there 6 years. So by the end of the 8 years in Mbarara, the question in my head was, why can't the Banyankole be like the Americans, be like the British, be like the Australians? That was the question in my head. Of course, meanwhile, while I was at Tungamo, I used to go to the shops and see there small tins of condensed milk, milk in tinned milk. From Australia, I talked to some few elders in Mbarara. I said, we are finishing our A level. We shall have some time before we go to university. We would like you to sponsor us and we go and mobilize our people to change. Some of them said, you leave those cattle keepers, they are impossible. So some of the elders discouraged us, but we went and saw Yoweri, who was the MP for this area, and I gave him my visuals. Then he was not, I don't think he was very convinced, but he said, I will support you, I will give you 20 shillings. So we prepared, Museveni and myself, to come. So problem number one here was lack of income. Number two, nomadism. Number three, the mortality of cows. Cows dying so much. And then of course number four, the poor quality of life. Bad housing, diseases, no medical care, no education for the children. The colonial people and these few educated people will say, these Uganda are stupid. They don't know what they are doing. They are moving. I said, no, they are not stupid. They are actually correct with their primitive science. Now, if you want to take away their primitive science, you must give them a new science, not simply say change without logic, without rationale. So, when I was talking to them, remember this time I was just 22 years old. Most of us was slightly older. And they were looking at, but they don't, these Africans, Tebanyoma, were young people, they don't underestimate. We were just young people, we were not anything. We would call meetings, all these old men would come. They would come. They would not say, these young people, what are they calling us for? And when you are Kurarika is when you announce in the meeting, they would say, Haruwana Mizraha. There are small children here who have come teaching people, let's go and hear what they are saying. They come. All the elders, they will come. So, as I was teaching them, then they challenged me, you young boy, if you don't furka, if you do not move around, cows will die. Then I challenged them. I said, do you know farm yung jungu yambara? Do you know the white man's farm, meaning stock farm? You see, the problem you have with these governments, they disconnect. The government is not connected with the people. This is the problem you have. You can imagine the people, this was now independence. This was 1966, 67. But they were still calling Mbarara stock farm Yomjungu. And yet it was supposed to be an experimental farm to learn from. How can you learn from something you don't associate with? But the leaders had never bothered to come. So I asked these people, I said, do you know the farm of the Mzungu? They said, yes. I said, does he migrate? Umjunga Furuka? They said no. He doesn't migrate. If he doesn't move around, do you have better cow than he has? They laughed. Lotugani is the mission. Are you mocking us? I said, yes, but I'm not mocking you. Because you said, if you don't move, cows die. The Mzungu does not move. His cows don't die and they are better than your cows. So what is the issue? They had an answer. You see, this is what you should do. Don't go to meetings. Oh yeah, yes. enter their heads. You need to penetrate the head of the person you are. So for them, they had an answer to me. Say, I name Bazi Yotargaho. For him, he has got drugs, constant supply of drugs. Where can we get the constant supply of drugs? Now I could see them beginning to, because originally they were looking at me as a film. The young boy who was talking about not moving, but when I started chatting with them, I could see they were beginning to calm down. So to cut a long story short, that's how the whole thing started. Challenging the traditional science and showing them that the modern science is better.